So hi,
Okay.
we're back here at Devox, and I'm here with Sam. Welcome,
Hey,
Sam. And
to see
we're
you.
here to talk about media.
Yeah.
You know, in the large grand scheme of things, media. Maybe before we talk about WebRTC, which is
Sure,
obviously the
sure.
topic we'll get into, let's talk about media and what it represents in the web today. Do you want to say a few words about, how much
Absolutely.
media is being consumed,
Oh,
produced,
it's
and
astonishing. Yeah, so I guess what we've seen on the web is like kind of two trends. And the first is sort of obvious. We have all these devices
Right.
that we're using now, more mobile phones than pencils or toothbrushes, all that stuff.
Right.
But with that has come, it's not the same old, is the change of what we're doing on the web. And, these devices, which are kind of oriented to consumption and communication in some ways, have led to a change in what we're doing on the web. And with that, we're getting the rise of media on the web. The figures I had recently from Cisco saying that within the next 3 years or so, we'll have something like potentially 90% of web traffic will be video.
Wow.
That's TV, on-demand, communication, and so on. But that's a huge shift in what people are doing on the web.
Right, and that means we need to evolve the standards, and as part of that, the WebRTC plays a big. I mean, that's what comes to mind. So, tell us about maybe what WebRTC is. Let's start there. For those that have not used it or that don't really know what it is.
Okay, so WebRTC is a way to do real-time communication in the browser on the web. And it's really well supported now on Chrome and desktop for Android, Firefox, and desktop and Android, and so on. What it means is that plug-in free, royalty-free, open source software, you can build that into your web app to do the obvious use cases, stuff like video chat, right in your web app. You can run a telephone system in your web apps. You can put a telephone in a web app, just like with a few lines of JavaScript.
So we're talking about replacing existing, potentially expensive software that's been running, this type of use cases for the longest time with free, open source, open standards.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that WebRTC is designed to work peer-to-peer. So the existing frameworks, have always involved a kind of centralized model where you're running someone else's services, but essentially, the kind of core of WebRTC is the communication happens directly between the peers, which is much more efficient.
Once connection is established, do you never need any centralized?
Now, of course, to do this, there's no way at this point in time to just shout into the internet, connect me to my friend. You can't do that. So you do need to negotiate the connection by what's called signaling, and then we live in the real world with NATs and firewalls and all this stuff. So we also have something called the ICE framework that WebRTC uses. It's been around for a few years, and it's a way of connecting even when you have these complex network scenarios.
Okay, great. Let's see, what's new with WebRTC? I feel like I've been hearing about WebRTC, and then...
I'll tell you what I love at the moment. I've seen amazing stuff with using the other side of WebRTC, which is the ability to exchange arbitrary data. So not just audio and video, but arbitrary binary data or just text. And we've seen a couple of things with that. Something called ShareFest, which enables you to share files between peers in a completely peer-to-peer way. It's not going via some intermediary server, and that's working very well. Another similar application, it's kind of prototype really, called Peer CDN, and all you have to do is incorporate, add the Peer CDN JavaScript top of your web page, and then what it will do is try to get the content on the web page from a peer that has the same stuff, so the same images or the same video or whatever. So in other words, it's a peer-to-peer file distribution setup using WebRTC. So kind of CDN via WebRTC. Nice. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, indeed. So you mentioned mobile devices. How real is WebRTC on those mobile devices? I mean, usually the mobile, in terms of supporting the standards and the advanced HTML5 standards, it's kind of trailing a bit. So where do we stand there?
It's looking good with WebRTC. So all the APIs are implemented in Chrome and in Firefox on mobile. We've got WebRTC bindings, in fact, for Java and for iOS. Still work being done on the iOS stuff, but that's coming. So we've got the ability to do that stuff on mobile, but also I think one of the main concerns for us is that is battery life and power consumption. And what we're seeing now is the integration of hardware encoding, so encoding and decoding done in hardware, much, much more efficient, much less power consumption. So that is a really huge focus of the WebRTC team at the moment, is making that power consumption very, very efficient and working on hardware.
Good. So WebRTC, just like many other fields, are filled with acronyms.
Yeah.
So you want to walk me through I think there are two that you wanted to cover.
Sure.
MSE? Is that,
so there are a couple of related technologies using video, which there's something called EME that people may have seen. It stands for Encrypted Media Extensions. This is a standard being developed by the W3C to enable content protection done via the browser interacting with a DRM system. This means that distributors and broadcasters can use web apps without resorting to plugins like Flash and Silverlight. The other one I wanted to mention, which is kind of another one of these alphabet city things, is MSE, which is Media Source Extensions. This is kind of a complicated way of saying that you can put together a stream of video in JavaScript from chunks of video.
Okay.
Now, what's interesting about that is that it enables you to do things like adaptive streaming, so raising and lowering based on bandwidth and things like time shifting and so on. So, yeah, two of the many APIs adding richness to video on the web.
So how is Google using WebRTC today?
Yeah, so obviously the move is for Google Hangouts to be using WebRTC.
Right.
And that's of course gives us better quality and the ability to do HD between, we hope, more reliable connections. So that's of course a huge push at the moment.
So we talked about mobile. How about accessibility? I mean, people like VinSurf advocate for the fact that and we pride ourselves in making data available and accessible. How's that part being?
This is something dear to my heart. I've worked. There is something called the track element that you can use inside of video elements in HTML5. And it's really simple. It's just a text file with timings for what are called cues, so subtitles or captions.
Right.
And you plonk that in a video element, link it to the text file that has that data, and then render over the video captions or subtitles. Now, that's cool, but you can also use that, it's great for accessibility, of course, but you can also use that by adding data in there instead of just plain old subtitles. So then you've got this incredible richness with the ability to add timed metadata, essentially, into a video. So, a million use cases for that. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very useful. Yeah. So, you mentioned the video tag. Anything new there?
Yeah, some things I've seen recently. I've worked with this on Chrome, the ability to use alpha transparency. So what this means is you can record a video like a green screen video, and then in Chrome now, I think it's still in Canary, but it's coming to stable, and it's coming to mobile as well, which is cool, is the ability to have a transparent background. So you can do things like play one video over another. Great for gaming, great for all kinds of use cases. People have been asking for this for a long time.
Good.
So that's that's one thing I love, which is brand new.
Coming to a Chrome browser near you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Anything fun you've seen recently around WebRTC that you found amazing that people have built?
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking what's kind of really new. What I saw the other day I loved. Someone had built, for their own use, a baby monitor. They, like some techie, his wife had a baby. He was feeling like he didn't want to just use someone else's system, so he did this with WebRTC using motion detection.
Right.
So it's really cool. So it doesn't just sit there and just show you the video, because you could do that already.
Yeah.
So what it does is it shows when there's some movement, and then you can do some tweaking about when you might be notified, get some kind of alarm or something. So you can check when your baby's woken up and all this stuff without having to just permanently listen in. But I love that sort of thing. People are this sort of DIY developer spirit.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's what it's all about enabling these developers with great technologies, and the sky's the limit. There's so many things that we haven't thought about. So
no, it's great. I mean, to me, this is incredibly rich APIs and an amazing, really, I think, an amazing feat of engineering. You know, just amazing. Yeah.
Great. Well, Sam, thank you so much. That's all the time we have
thanks for having me.
But guys, see you soon.
Yeah.
Cheers.
See you next time.
Cool.
Cool.